So it was an interesting turn of events in my life. 12 years old, received this pounding in my chest and this commitment to go into the world and make disciples. At 13, I received this call in my life that I don't really understand, that I really have no clue how to maintain or how to approach. But interesting enough, I go through all my high school career, and at the age of 15, I believe, around 15, I watched this movie, The Ghost in the Darkness. And maybe many of you have seen it, or if not, I thoroughly suggest it, at least the edited version, or the non-edited version, really, whatever suits you. But it is a phenomenal movie that just played a lot into my life. It's basically about this guy who goes to Africa. He's Irish. I got a little Irish in my blood, so I'm pretty in tune with it. And he goes to Africa and he builds bridges. That's what he does. He's an architect. And I remember watching this movie and being inspired by this movie and wanting to build bridges. I remember wanting to be an architect. So I took CAD in high school, mostly with a mentality that I would go into a field of architecture afterwards and begin to build bridges. The biggest line in the movie that impacted my life was right after John Patterson, which the movie's based on a true story. This guy, John Patterson, arrives in Africa. He's standing there, and he's standing at the river that he has to build this bridge over, and it's a very difficult project. And he's looking there, and there's this man that's with him, an African man, that is asking him, how does it look? Does it look more difficult than you thought? And in your mind. And so John looks at him and he says, it does. It looks more difficult. But he said, what better job in all the world than to build a bridge? Bring land over water. Bring worlds together. And I tell you what, that line was so powerful to me, and it really inspired me to want to do that very thing. But I had this conflict in my soul when I hit around 16, 17 years old. There was this conflict of the call that was on my life and my desire to go and build bridges and be an architect and make lots of money and support a family and all of these things. And I realized that my image and my view and my desire for my life to make my life work the way I wanted to was going to die, and it was going to end, and there was nothing that I could really do. There was nothing that I could do other than choose. I could choose to do the thing that I believed from my heart that God was calling me to do, or I could go and do what I wanted to do. And so when I went to college, I chose to go to Nyack, and there was a couple factors that factored into me going to Nyack. My older brother went there, so immediately I wanted to go there. One of the other major factors was that my two best friends, Aaron Costello and Toby Burrows, they both they were going to college as well, and I knew that I couldn't allow them to go to college and get on with their lives and be in these great careers, and me be left behind, not going to college. So that was another big factor. The other factor was that Dan Cornell, youth pastor, man I revere and respect greatly, it was his alma mater, Nyack, in terms of collegiate alma maters, that is. And so I pursued going to Nyack because of these people, and the one other one that was a huge influence was Ron Walborn. He came to Edinburgh Camp one year, again, for family camp, and I heard him speak with such passion and such fervor for God, and in a way that I'd never heard anybody speak about God before. And I knew that if I could study under anybody, that I would want to study under him. And so that I chose to go to Nyack. What was beautiful about my choice to go to Nyack is that my first week here, or actually the second week here, they do something called Spiritual Emphasis Week, where it's focused around taking time out to focus on who God is in our lives and who He will ultimately be and play out in our lives, in our collegiate career, and in the rest of our lives. And um, so it's pretty self-explanatory. Basically, is what it is: a spiritual emphasis. And so I went to Spiritual Emphasis Week, and it was amazing. It was a wonderful experience where I really got to meet some great people, hear some phenomenal preaching, and the Spirit of God moved and really showed up. But the largest part of this moment in Spiritual Emphasis Week was when I was sitting there, and there was a call to response to come forward, and I went forward and just committed to doing this thing that I believed that God was calling me to do. And I was putting aside my desire, my dream for my life, and when I went forward, I just felt this peace come over me, and I was at peace with my decision to be in Nyack and to pursue pastoral ministry as a degree. And in doing that, I again heard God's Spirit commune with my spirit, and He said to me, I didn't make you to build bridges in the natural, but I made you to build bridges in the spiritual, to bring my word over the void and bring worlds together. It was a beautiful, powerful moment for my life that really developed and changed who I am. And it was a beautiful, beautiful day.